to Local 10. She drove home from a neighborhood pool with 6 children riding on the top of her car because she didn't want their wet swimsuits to ruin her car's upholstery. That's what towels are for. Oh, my gosh. Screw the kids. They can ride on top of the car. You got to save that upholstery. Keisha Young, 39, Florida woman, was arrested after having the children, 4 of which were hers and 2 of which were a friend's, ride on the roof and the trunk of her Chevy Malibu for the short ride back home after swimming at the local pool. What? I can't even get over this. They were riding on top of the car. On top of the car. Witnesses in the neighborhood were astonished to see Young driving with the kids, ages 8 to 14, on the outside of the vehicle, and they were even more shocked when 4 of the children were flung from the car after Young took a sharp turn. As the children lay injured in the street, Young kept on driving, apparently unaware that the children had fallen off the vehicle. When Young finally circled back and realized that the children were injured and needed medical attention, the most seriously injured child had to be taken by Care Flight. She's a Florida woman and she's in Texas. She charges, the other woman was also charged. The 2 adults were in the front seat. She was arrested on suspicion of intoxication, assault, and a third degree felony. The child that fell, the most injured one, had a serious head injury. Of course, I'm sure the neighbors were shocked when the kids flew off the car. Oh my gosh, I can't even handle it. Oh, it gets even more insane. This is weird. I had a lot of people send me this story. A Florida teen, killed his grandmother and drove her body around, driving Miss Daisy. Lutz, Florida. A teenager killed his grandmother in a bloody struggle inside her home at a nudist community, and then drove around with her body in a minivan for nearly 5 hours, say authorities. Brandon Mikado, 18, had been living with his grandmother, 74-year-old Sylvia Schmidt, for the past several weeks, and they fought frequently. Pasco County Sheriff's spokeswoman Melanie Snow says that the neighbor called authorities after seeing Mikado drag a wrapped-up bag with feet out into his grandmother's minivan. He then drove around with his grandmother's body in the back, and when deputies tried to pull him over, he refused. He eventually drove back to the Paradise Lakes community, where he was arrested. He's charged with first-degree murder and is being held in jail without bond. It's unclear if he has an attorney. That's just so much wrong with that story. The nudist colony, and then being the first, and then the murder and everything else. No, I'm all right. No. This Florida woman was arrested for beating a man with a pencil. The pencil was 18 inches long and 2 inches wide. Is that a thing?
Well, it's like a novelty
18
pencil.
Inches long. Oh, it's a novelty pencil.
I've seen those. Like novelty pencils or calculators that you get for old people as a joke. That's pretty much what it is.
What kind of sissy did she beat up?
I don't know.
I'm kidding. It's bad. Abuse is bad. It doesn't matter. But seriously. The Florida woman was arrested Monday on aggravated assault and domestic violence charges after she beat a man with a large wooden pencil. Florida woman Terry Walters told the arresting officer that she was using that pencil to defend herself. Thank you very much. According to the arrest report, the man had bruises and scratch marks on his arm, his chest, and his head. Walters was bleeding from her leg and had a minor injury to her left ear. And of course, it occurred in front of their children because she is a classy lady. She looks really angry in her mugshot, too. I would as well with that haircut. So, yeah, novelty pencil. Florida man pees on cop sandwich. That's tomorrow.
Get more Dana Show at 971talk.com.
This Dana Show podcast brought to you by Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Need service, maintenance, or a new HVAC system? Air Comfort Service works 24/7, keeping area homes and businesses comfortable. If you have a heating and cooling problem, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Dana Lash is off and running, generating the buzz.
All bets are off at this point.
So great to talk to you, Dana. You're my favorite.
Dana, you and I are blood brothers for the American dream.
Dana Lash, the conservative alternative. This is The Dana Show.
We go to our local grocery store on the weekend. We talk to people in our town. We know what's going on. The real issue is, if you've been fortunate enough to be successful, are you now out of touch and insensitive to the agonizing struggles other people are facing?
You know, Bill Clinton says Hillary is not out of touch. You know, she's not out of touch. She goes to the grocery store. He's like, I still, we go to our local grocery store on the weekend. We talk to people in our town. Well, that means it all right there. They go to the grocery store, Kevin. They're just like us. It's like, what is it, People or Us magazine? Where they have this section, it's called Celebrities Just Like Us. Look at this celebrity going into Target. I'm sure they love the fact that paparazzi are outside taking photos of them, bringing out some Ziploc bags and tissues or whatever. She goes to oh my gosh, what's the quote? Oh gosh, it used to be it's a real quote, but you remember the whole, it was the Bruce Dickinson. It's like a Bruce Dickinson kind of thing. Like, hey, I put my pants on just like the rest of you, one leg at a time, except once my pants are on, I make gold records. You remember that SNL skit? Will Ferrell with we need more cowbell.
How can you forget that? How can you?
Once my pants are on, I make gold records. Yeah, she's just like you. She goes to the local grocery store where then she spends $1 trillion. So what do you buy at the grocery store? All organic, super expensive stuff, I'm sure. Just like everybody. That means that you have the same worries that everyone else because you go to the grocery store. Ooh. He was like, yeah, they're trying to... Dude, you're not broke. They have never been broke. The Clintons' idea of being broke are many Americans' idea of being wealthy. Oh my gosh, we only have 11 trillion in the bank this time, Bill. Things are getting serious. What? You mean I can't go and purchase something right there from Saks? Man, I guess I'll have to go to the outlet store or something. I don't get their idea. I don't get these people. I don't get these people at all. She's not out of touch. She worked for things that were good for the ordinary people, like fewer jobs. Oh, Bill. And she charges 6,000 figures for speeches. She charges a lot for her speeches. But she's just like you guys. She's just like all of us. I don't think that they're like us at all. Have you seen their house up in, what is it, Chappaquiddick? That's where it is. Have you seen, that's a nice house, nice big giant pool. Nice house. I'm not begrudging them for being successful. Just don't act like you're poor. I don't care. If somebody's successful, yay, that means America's still working. Despite the president's best efforts. But don't sit here and say that, you've been broke and that you're just like us. And no, I don't think so. It doesn't work the same. Speaking of despite the president's best efforts, Gallup, CBS, New York Times poll. This is like the third poll showing this. 3 is a trend. The approval rating for the president is heading toward a historic low. It's just a bad week. We need a media squirrel. What will the next media squirrel be, I wonder? Gallup reported that yesterday the president's weekly approval rating was at its lowest point in a quarter. It's a new personal low. And it seems as the situation in Iraq is really taking one of the bigger tolls on the president's public standing. According to Gallup, his weekly job approval rating is down a total of 3 percentage points over the last 2 weeks, down to 41%. It's notable. It follows nearly 3 months in which his job approval rating has averaged 44% with little week-to-week variation, and then it drops to 41 in just the last 2 weeks. Long stretch of stability from mid-March to early June occurred during a period that was hardly uneventful. They had the VA and everything else. His disapproval is also super high. He's got a 53